On December 12, 2020, the first edition holographic Charizard broke the Pokemon collectible record and sold for more than $350,000. Just a few hours later, another card broke the record. This time it sold for $369,000. The amazing thing is that they were the same and known as the rarest Pokemon card in the base set released in 1999. Pokemon cards have come a long way since the first time in 1999 that little kids traded them for next to nothing. Now people are willing to spend as much as $500,000 to get rare collections. But how did it all begin? We'll be telling you all about the insane story of Pokemon cards in today's video. Who created Pokemon cards? Pokemon actually means pocket monsters, and it never started as a trading card game. Instead, it captured the minds of people worldwide as an unforgettable animated series. It was thanks to the series that Pokemon cards came to life. But let's take it from the top. Back in October of 1996, a company called Media Factory released the first series of the card game in Japan. Then, Wizards of the Coast released the card game in the United States before Nintendo took the wheels of the publishing process. But our story won't be complete without talking about the mind behind the Pokemon phenomenon. Remember that we said Pokemon started as a game and the designer behind this was Satoshi Tajiri. At first, he was only a publisher for Game Freak, where he created a fanzine about video games. Given the era, it's not surprising that every original edition of the fanzine was distributed independently and written by hand by the creator. A few years later, Satoshi started working with Ken Sugimori, who became an illustrator for the fanzine. It didn't take long for them to realize that video games lacked something appealing. The quality was just too low. They didn't think people would want to buy something that didn't look like the best possible version. So they put together a team to release their own games. The plan was to develop games on the Nintendo Famicom, so Satoshi knew that he had to start learning the programming language that would bring this to life. At the time, Nintendo Famicom was the most popular Nintendo console in Japan. The first game from Satoshi and his team was called Quinty, and they pitched this to Namco. While this had relative success, it was nowhere as big as they would face in the coming years. Satoshi started his work with the Game Boy console until it evolved into the concept of the Pokemon game that we know today. Apparently, Nintendo saw the huge potential in this project and was more than impressed with the idea. They decided to elaborate more on the concept while Satoshi exploited connectivity options on the Game Boy console. In no time, the game was so interactive that players could collaborate and interact with each other alongside intense competitions. While many news outlets believed that the era of the Game Boy console was over, Nintendo spent 4 times their usual amount on publicity. This was as much as $20 million, and it wasn't long before this paid off. The game picked up steam, and today we know it as one of the biggest sellers for Nintendo. Now let's talk about the rise of Pokemon cards. The rise of Pokemon cards. The Pokemon franchise began to diversify in 1996 and moved outside its known video game industry. They released the Pokemon trading card game in 1996 to high expectations from the gaming clan, and it got to the United States in early 1999. It wasn't difficult to understand the principle behind this trading card game. Every player was a Pokemon trader with their unique positions on the board. They would attack the Pokemon of other players with a set of cards until it had done enough damage to knock others out of the game. As you can imagine, kids absolutely loved this. Even adults began to get in on the Pokemon craze. They had a set of cards with at least one basic Pokemon that hadn't evolved yet. Only Pokemon that hadn't gone through evolution could start the game. Then, there were the evolved Pokemons that were played against lower-level Pokemons. Evolution makes its power percentage higher. The baby Pokemon cards could have lower HP, but still cause devastating attacks. There were other important cards like energy cards, which were attached to characters, and trainer cards that could perform a series of actions. Everyone loves variety, and these different types of cards made the gameplay much more interesting. How popular are the Pokemon cards today? Now, these Pokemon trading cards are not exactly used to play games anymore. Who would want to use a card worth more than $100,000 to attack an opponent? Now, they are valuable collector items making thousands of people rich. Pokemon cards are undoubtedly the largest media properties of all time. I mean, former rapper Logic bought Charizard PSA in October 2020 for a whopping $220,000. But then, these are not just any cards. A lot of them are so rare that there are just a few available in the world. Gary Haas is one of those amazing Pokemon card collectors whose collection is worth a fortune. He even sold one of his cards to popular YouTuber Logan Paul for $150,000. It has been several decades since Pikachu and his crew exploded in popularity in the United States. Now, there is a feeling of nostalgia that accompanies the recent rise of Pokemon cards. While there were still some good people that collected these cards in the background, it was not as widely popularized as it has been in the last few months. Let's talk about what's responsible for this. Why have Pokemon cards become popular again? We would be lying if we said that the current pandemic didn't have any effect on the recent rise in popularity of Pokemon cards. It's a combination of the pandemic, live streaming, and social media. There are several social media channels dedicated to discussing these cards and unboxing rare collections. We have the Ultimate set, which is the most popular one in circulation. This doesn't make them any less valuable, though. And then there are the first edition cards, which are the rarest. All you have to do is take a look at the figure 1 on the cards to know that they are the first edition ones. When the holographic Charizard first edition Pokemon card got released in the late 90s, they were worth between $275 to $375 only. Cheap, right? Well, those same cards can be gotten as much as $300,000. Look at the rise in value. The unlimited card version of this was worth between $35 and $50 when it first got released, but today, it's worth as much as $30,000. A card can be rare, but its condition is also important. The Pokemon cards are popular again because it has given a lot of people something to occupy their minds with at this time. And what a better way to do than unboxing a lot of nostalgia from our childhood days. It's a perfect fit for the current era. Pokemon has given people jobs that pay thousands of dollars in a day. We're talking about grading the Pokemon cards. What does this mean? Well, remember when we said the condition of the cards was just as important as how rare they are? Apparently, no one is going to shell out hundreds of dollars for a card that looks like it's been through some rough times. Even though these cards are decades old, their worth increases when they look well kept, and there are people whose job it is to help you check. There are only 2 companies that are recognized as grading Pokemon cards, and one of them is called Professional Sports Authenticator. A Pokemon card is graded on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest quality. So if you were to come across a card graded PSA 10, then that's a perfect Pokemon card. A person grading cards could earn as much as $12,000 on a good day. First, they will check if it's a real card. As expected, there are millions of counterfeits currently in circulation. Really not surprising. Then the grader would check for any alterations done to make the card look better or a chipped corner that shows that it's not in mint condition. Remember Gary Haas? Just 20 of his Pokemon cards are worth about $4 million, and he has several hundreds of them. The current market continues to climb for these cards, and it doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. This is an industry that has generated as much as $1 billion since Pokemon first came to life. And this is the insane story of how Pokemon grew from being the idea of Satoshi Tajiri in a corner store to becoming one of the biggest franchises in the world. Even bigger than Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Hello Kitty. Now you know how the Pokemon story first started, and that's a wrap. What are your favorite Pokemon cards? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.